full of shows leading into WrestleDream as well. So just as normal, our housekeeping items here to address. In the interest of time and to give everyone the best opportunities possible to ask a question, please refrain from asking two-parted questions. Now let's try to keep the questions focused on the upcoming shows this week. And as Robin mentioned, please make sure your phone is unmuted. So with that, I'll turn it over to Tony for some opening thoughts, and then we'll open the lines for your questions. Tony.
Well, Jim, thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone joining us today. I'm really excited. This Sunday is going to be one of the great nights in pro wrestling. I really believe it's going to be a great event. I'm excited about WrestleDream. Very excited to honor the legacy of the late, great Antonio Inoki. Very excited to announce that his family is really thrilled about the event, and they're going to be coming to Seattle to participate, which I think is just so great. It's going to be one of the best cards we've ever put together. It's going to be a great pay-per-view. It will be the end of a chapter in AEW and the start of a new era of AEW. I'm very excited for that. And with that, we can get going with your questions. I know Jim said to refrain from two-part questions, but he never said anything about three-part or four-part questions. So I guess those are probably okay. Jim, take it away.
All right, Tony. Well, I have no comeback. So, but nonetheless, let's give it our best. Starting with John Alba from Fight, and then we're going to follow John with Steve Fall from 10 Count. John, you're first.
Hey, Tony, I'm just glad to get my question in before Bill Pritchard. Bill always has the secret sauce for getting quality Tony answers. But I hope you're well, Tony. Thank you, Jim. This morning, there's a big announcement from WWE about Jade Cargill coming in, and we know that for a long time, Jade was a major project in AEW and had one of the longest title reigns that your company may ever see, quite frankly. I would love to have your honest thoughts on Jade moving on to WWE and how you feel you guys did in anticipation of her.
I have only positive things to say about Jade. It's been great having her in AEW. She's always welcome here. I think she's had a great run with us and has a great career, I'm sure, in front of her. We're wishing her the best in the future. Thanks.
Okay, John, thank you very much. Steve Fall from 10 Count, you are next. And we're going to follow Steve with Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Steve.
Hey, Tony, thanks for taking the call. Quick question, though. It seems like every month we're getting another AEW pay-per-view, and everyone wants to know if we're going to see AEW on a streaming platform soon. Can we talk about monthly pay-per-views, and will they land on a streaming platform very soon?
I am really excited about WrestleDream. We've built a great calendar of events. I think there's more events we can add. I've never said that I expect to go to pay-per-views every single month, but we've been doing several events. We came into this year with 5 great events that we had run in 2022 in Revolution, Double or Nothing, Forbidden Door, All Out, and Full Gear. And then this year, we've got all those great events, and we've added huge shows. Obviously, All In is the biggest event we've ever done on top of our traditional calendar. So it proves, I think, that there's room to grow our schedule. And now we're adding WrestleDream, and the excitement about WrestleDream really makes me happy. I was just so pumped to see how much the online wrestling community really has embraced the show, and particularly in the last week. The card is really strong. We had a great episode of Collision this past Saturday to follow up a great Grand Slam. It feels like we're on the best run of major events we've ever done, which is why it's a great time to look at adding major events like this great WrestleDream show. If there was ever a time to add an event like this, where the card has built max anticipation, people are really excited about the theme of the event. I think we're doing it for a really good reason. And it's following up on the best run of major events we've ever done. I really believe the last 3 pay-per-views, the last 3 pay-per-views we've done, Forbidden Door, followed by All In and All Out. I think this is the best run of 3 pay-per-views we've ever done. Then Grand Slam is one of our top events of the year. That was a huge success. I'm sure pretty much, hopefully, all of you on the call received the press release from Warner Brothers Discovery. If you didn't, let us know, and we'll try to get you on the chain for those going forward. But Warner Brothers Discovery sent out a great press release last night touting the success of AEW Dynamite Grand Slam, which was the biggest broadcast really, really great thing there, and that's another big major event, and just feels like we're on a great run, so it's a great time to add events, and in this case, in the form of pay-per-views. I am very open to putting AEW events on a streaming platform. I think it would be a great thing. I think we're frankly close enough to the end of our media obligations here, and our current deal where that sounds like a new deal to me. And it's the kind of thing that would be part of a new media rights package, and that would be great for us. So it's something I would really like to do. It's outside the scope of our current contract, which is, for our live TV events and our pay-per-view events. And we've got something really great happening. It's been the best year, in my opinion, in the history of AEW, because you've got, not only have we been able to launch new events, with All In being the biggest thing we've ever done, setting the attendance record for ticket sales, and also being up there with our top pay-per-views of all time in sales. And now with WrestleDream, I really think this is a chance to add another new event to the calendar. I think we can continue adding great events, but I've never said I would put it every single month. I think there's a potential for more events, and what the cadence is, whether it's monthly or 8, 10, 11, or 12. I haven't decided the exact number yet, but I do think there's an appetite for more events. Warner Brothers Discovery is really excited about doing more events. And right now, these are living on pay-per-view, but I do think there's great potential for all of our events to live on a streaming service. And right now, I mean, the top choice for that to me would be Max. I think it's an amazing platform, and we're working with Warner Brothers Discovery now, and I think there is great mutual interest in it, but like with all media deals where there's mutual interest, there's a lot of work that would need to go into it to figure out how that would pay everybody, because I have no interest in doing like a tryout. At this point, we've been doing this for 3.5 years. I'm not going to do a 6-month, 9-month tryout on streaming. I don't think that makes any sense for any of us. So, I think we built it to the point where there's a really, really big fan base for our major events. As we've shown this year, it's bigger than ever worldwide. And I think WrestleDream is a huge pay-per-view event, and it doesn't necessarily signify the beginning of a monthly pay-per-view calendar, but it is a new event that we've never done, and it's something very special. And I'm just really excited to be here to talk about it today, because I really believe in what we're doing with WrestleDream this Sunday, that it's going to be an amazing event, and I'm very proud that we're honoring one of the people who made AEW possible, who does not get enough credit in the world of pro wrestling. He doesn't get talked about enough, despite being one of the greatest promoters, and I think pretty much unanimously recognized as one of the all-time great wrestling minds and promoters in Mr. Antonio Inoki, and I'm thrilled that his family wants to participate in the event and help us honor a great legend. So very excited about the event. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling is next. He will be followed by Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful. Stu.
Tony, thanks for the time. There were reports that Adam Cole may have sustained a leg injury last week during Grand Slam. Can you speak to that and his status regarding the Ring of Honor tag title match with him and MJF against Aussie Open?
Well, I think you might be mistaken too. Aussie Open, they wrestled, that's who they beat for the belt in England. They've got a match against the Righteous this weekend. The match against Aussie Open, I can comment on. It was great, and it was part of the greatest event we've ever done, but that was obviously back in August. The Righteous match, as of now, that is still slotted for the event, and Adam Cole didn't, he was a little bit ginger on that leg. Obviously, I think people saw, but we'll address that on Dynamite tomorrow. And very excited for tomorrow's Dynamite, being back in the Denver area, back in Colorado, back in Broomfield, which has been a great home to AEW. We've had some great events there, and should be a great show tomorrow night on Wednesday Night Dynamite. And we'll address Adam Cole and everything happening at WrestleDream on tomorrow night Dynamite. Thanks.
Thank you, Stu. Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful is next. Sean will be followed by Jim Barcelone at Miami Herald. Sean.
Hey Tony, there were some very random rumors that actually emerged on, I don't even know where the hell they emerged from, that you had bought New Japan. Is there anything that you can confirm, deny, debunk, anything along the lines of that? I think a lot of that started with the end of an era, start of a new era comments.
Well, I think it's really good that we created a lot of speculation around WrestleDream, but I'm a little surprised as to how that speculation picked up, and specifically the transactional nature of it, because we have such a great partnership right now, and we're doing such great things in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I was a little surprised to see that, and overall, I've really enjoyed working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's been nearly 2 years we've been partners now, and we've had 2 great Forbidden Door events, and we've sent a number of the top AEW stars over to Japan to wrestle at the Tokyo Dome, on Wrestle Kingdom, other big events like Dominion, and some of their top shows. We've worked together here in the U.S. There are people from AEW that have held belts in New Japan, and there's people from New Japan that have held belts here in AEW or in Ring of Honor. And I think, I want to continue that partnership for a very, very, very long time. And right now we have something very good going. So I'm a little surprised by all that speculation. I don't know where it came from exactly, but it's probably a good timing to have a lot of speculation on the eve of WrestleDream. And I'm glad that we got a lot of people talking. Certainly that one video with all the great clips of Mr. Inoki and some of the top stars of today spliced in, I thought that got people talking, so that was a very positive thing. Thanks.
Thank you, Sean. Jim Barcelone from Miami Herald is next. Amy Nemedy from WrestleJoy will follow Jim. Jim.
Jim, you need to unmute your line.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jim, Tony, everybody. I'm curious with WrestleDream and the location, it's in Seattle. I'm just curious, were there thoughts of even holding this in Japan with the great Antonio Inoki, his legacy and all there, or in the future maybe even hold it in Japan, or no, wanted to make this in America?
I thought this was a great event for the American fans to pay their tribute to Antonio Inoki. When I was a kid, I wore out a shirt. Basically, I had 3 shirts when I was 13 years old that I was in a rotation pretty much. I had a Taz shirt, a Darth Vader shirt, and a Wrestling Peace Festival shirt. And I wore that Peace Festival shirt celebrating Antonio Inoki's event in Los Angeles all the time. It was a white shirt, and it had the card on the back, and I wore it so much. And it was a really cool thing to have wrestlers from companies all over the world coming together, and WCW was a big part of it at the time. And I think they were instrumental in making that event possible and having a lot of the top stars that were on the billing. And it just seemed to me now, the wrestling world has changed, but there are players that have come into the space, and there are some of the same players that existed 25, 30 years ago. And I just thought, now that Mr. Inoki passed away, in particular, October 1st, because this is the 1-year anniversary of his passing, I thought it would be something really special. I remember I was in a hotel room working on AEW on the road when I heard that Antonio Inoki had passed away, and I filed the date away. And I thought it would be really a great thing. And October 1st, to look for a venue, and Seattle is really ideal because there are wrestlers coming from Japan, and that's relatively, compared to a lot of the places we could have held the event in North America, that's probably a shorter flight for them than other places. So I think there's positive things about it there. So Seattle seemed like a perfect venue in America to celebrate a wrestling promoter who, most of the business he did was in Japan, but he conducted business worldwide, and he did a ton of business in America. And he's also one of the reasons that Strong Style Pro Wrestling, Junior Heavyweight, and a lot of the great international pro wrestlers we saw on American television when a lot of us were kids, he's the one who brought them here. And so I thought it was very fitting to celebrate the event in America as part of the AEW schedule and build something that I think can be an annual event and hopefully celebrate him every year because Inoki really deserves that. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Amy Nebedy from WrestleJoy comes next, followed by Bill Pritchard from WrestleZone. Amy.
Hi, Tony. I wanted to talk a bit about Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr., two of the best technical wrestlers in the world. This is a match that puts the Dream in WrestleDream. So they haven't faced each other, though, in nearly 15 years. Bryan beat Zack back in 2008, and Zack returned the favor later in 2009. Zack Sabre Jr. has dubbed this match, quote-unquote, submissions in Seattle, and vows to, quote, end Bryan's career in his pursuit of truly becoming the best technical wrestler in the world. Can you talk about the stakes of this match, as well as the significance of seeing the likes of Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. face each other in such a high-profile match at WrestleDream? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm very excited for the match. Submissions in Seattle, that's a hell of a name for this event and a hell of a name for this big match. It is definitely, in my opinion, a dream match. There was tons of anticipation. There was worldwide buzz around last year's Forbidden Door, and one of the matches we were planning to have at the event was Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr., and there was a lot of people clamoring for that match. As you said, they had not wrestled in well over a decade, and it's amazing how far both of them have come since then. I mean, both of them have just, not only in their careers, certainly they've accomplished a lot, but also physically, they've really built their bodies up. These are different wrestlers than they were when they wrestled 15 years ago. And Bryan Danielson, one of the biggest stars on the entire planet, one of the most recognized